Hi, this is Peter Gould. I'm the co-creator and executive producer. This is episode 606, and the title is...
Axe and Grind. I'm Ariel Levine. I wrote this episode.
Hi, this is Mark Johnson. I'm one of the executive producers.
This is Diane Mercer. I'm another one of the executive producers with a focus on post-production.
And I'm Denise Pizzini, the production designer for season 6.
Oh my God. Denise!
What is going on with you?
Denise, this was a challenge for you.
Yeah. This was probably our first Omaha, but not the Gene Omaha.
You're right.
This is the Kim Omaha departments. And
I don't think they're actually in Omaha.
Yeah.
They're in somewhere near Nebraska.
Nebraska border.
What happens now?
But yes.
Yeah. So this is the back room of a department store in the past.
In the past. Sometime in the 80s, I think we said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. About mid-80s. I feel like it was, I'm sure it was tricky to get it all just right and period appropriate.
Well, yes. I mean, luckily there was a fixture store in Albuquerque that was going out of business. And we pretty much went and cleaned them out of all their stuff, all the rounders and racks and everything, and just kind of crammed everything in there. But this was the back room of an antique mall.
And I got to say, Beth Hoyt and Katie Beth Hall as Kim's mom and young Kim, they're both so fantastic. Of course, we saw them back, was it season 5? Season 5.
506.
And Ariel, why do you think, in fact, I think we had another teaser about Kim's past that we broke, and then we had a second thought about it, and we came up with this. Well, what do you think? Why do you think this is the right thing to know about Kim, or what do you think was the intention behind it?
Yeah, I mean, well, so that, the first teaser we had was going to be the moment Kim leaves home in search of, to quote her from season 2, something more. It was going to be at her grandma's funeral, and she mentions her grandma in season 1. She had a grandma and scumbag cousins who used to steal her meds, and we sort of wanted to explore. We had talked about exploring her past and that side of her, and then we sort of pivoted and said, that's not really, we don't know if that is really what we need to learn about Kim and hear about Kim. And this teaser really kind of, I think, mirrors nicely with her decision at the end of the episode. You don't want to disappoint her again. Her relationship with her mom and her relationship with scamming and crime. I think it tied in really nicely with kind of the themes we were exploring with Kim for the episode. That makes
good sense, and these two are so great.
Yeah, I love this little moment here.
Oh, it's fantastic!
It's just so beautifully performed, and it tells you so much about their relationship. I mean, that's what's great. We've had 2 teasers in the entire series about Kim's past. We know so little about Kim because she tells us so little.
Yeah.
And you learn so much from these 2 scenes that have very little dialogue in them. But you learn what you need to know. It's just so beautifully done.
And this is, of course, directed by the brilliant Giancarlo Esposito. And he just it's his first episode directed for us, and he did such a wonderful job. And really such a sensitive job. And those are the earrings. What does that mean?
What does it mean, Peter?
Yeah. And then Duran. It's to me, this is such an interesting teaser because her relationship with her mom has this really interesting echo of her relationship with Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think people tend to recreate situations from their past, not necessarily because they want to, but because there's a comfort.
And sometimes they don't even know they're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So true. It's been my observation in my own life.
Oh, yes.
No matter where you go, there you are.
Where did we find young Kim? She from L.A.?
She is from LA. She was from Bialy Thomas, and she's from the Washington D.C. area, I believe.
Oh,
and she is.
Oh my God, just like Ray.
She's done a lot of live theater, and she's just great.
Yeah, she's really great.
This piece of music is a Thomas Gould discovery, and it's a Perry Como. And I don't know why it's so perfect. It just is. As soon as we heard this, we were like, this tells the whole story right here.
Mm-hmm. Like, I want to listen to this music getting ready in the morning every day. I feel fabulous.
It kind of feels like his internal monologue a little bit. Like he's willing himself to have a good attitude and a good mood.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to see his wife, and he's trying. And I don't even want to ask I'm tempted to ask Ariel what you think Howard did to get on Cheryl's bad side, but maybe that's better left to the imagination. What do you think?
I mean, I love that we leave it to the imagination, and I also feel like, at least in my experience, sometimes it's never just one thing. When I imagine maybe there's a relationship that eroded over many years and many different situations. It wasn't just one thing, probably. I don't imagine anyone cheated or lied or did anything bad, but Howard, he went through some stuff after Chuck died.
True.
I love that this sequence was basically just made up of inserts. Did you write it that way?
No, I don't think we did. I think it was beautifully shot and edited this way.
Yeah.
Right, I think.
I think we wrote it to be kind of moving with him through his morning and through his life. This is our first time seeing Howard's home life.
It's fun.
Right.
Which is kind of special to get to see this now in the 6th season of the show.
And Patrick really learned to do that, right?
Yeah, he did. I'm so impressed. It looks great. And she just goes and ruins it.
Sandrine is just such a wonderful actress, and she's so great in this scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, the reason I ask what Howard did is that there's something about her that I find likable. So I don't think she's just a sadist. At least that's not in my book.
Again, I go back to inserts. Just the insert of watching him, what happened to that cup of coffee that was so perfectly prepared.
Yeah.
And not only does she sort of not dignify it, but pours it into the to-go cup and then spills it on top of that.
And doesn't clean it up.
No,
I love that.
And look at his eyes as he watches.
I know.
Yes.
I mean,
That was not scripted. That was all them.
Yeah. The performance, these two performances in this scene are just truly extraordinary. I mean,
It's
scenes from a marriage.
It is. I mean, it's so painful, but to me, it's also hilariously funny. I can't explain why, but I think it's so funny, but it's also sad. So maybe that's a good combination in my book.
I feel like that's the Better Call Saul way.
There you go.
Funny, but also sad. Oh, duly noted.
this is like the worst thing she could say.
Right?
Just hurts me.
Tell them I said hello.
Yeah, that's not what he was hoping for.
No, it was not.
But he's committed to having a good attitude.
He's trying to make it work.
He is. But then this is the moment. This moment I know we all love. There he is cleaning it up.
Tireless Howard, cleaning up messes.
Now, Ariel, am I right in thinking this is actually your first solo episode? You wrote one with me. You wrote one with Tom, and this is your solo outing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. It was a really fun episode to write. Very, very exciting for Giancarlo to get to be my director.
Coffee, same place as the day before. 2:30 to 3:20, he was down.
This was a bear.
All these photographs are they all had to be shot. They all had to go out and shoot all these pictures of Bob. And I remember Vince in the writer's room, he knew that this was going to be a problem, and he kept on saying, "Is there some way we could just have one picture or two?" and I argued, and I think I carried the day this time, that we needed a lot to sort of hide the needle in the haystack to give it credibility. But Clementine Donnell, who is Melissa Bernstein's assistant, spearheaded the effort to get all these pictures, which it was a giant job, and to have them done in time for this scene.
Well, like that bank, when he's at the bank, that was a whole thing. at another episode at another set in a corner of a hotel that we just kind of brought in like a counter and put a sign up and all this stuff here.
That looks great.
And he's exiting. I think we were shooting 6:05 when we were doing that.
Think so yeah.
That's amazing. And it's but and it goes by, and I think you buy it. I certainly buy them, and anybody who's watching this, we're going to assume has watched further into the season, so they know where this is going.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this before you watch the rest of the season,
stop.
Alert.
Go ahead and watch.
Go back and watch.
Don't listen to the commentary.
This
Look
little
at
puppy.
Fernando. I was so sad I wasn't allowed to write Fernando, F-U-R. Nando. Kathleen Williams-Foshi, our script coordinator, would not let me. She changed it back.
Be back.
We love Carl Dara. So glad you guys got him in one more time.
Joe DeRosa.
We just love him.
He's a wonderful, wonderful actor and a very funny comedian. If you haven't heard, he's got a podcast. He does stand-up. He's just great.
And I love this character. Such a favorite.
Yeah. I love how much he loves his job. He just genuinely loves animals. And even if he's doing something criminal after hours, he puts everything aside. He says, hang on a second, to go take care of his real patients.
That's true. He's got his priorities straight.
He does.
Look all the way to the right.
I didn't think, when I was writing it, I had a pet, but I recently adopted a puppy, and within 2 weeks of getting this puppy, we had to make an emergency trip to the vet. And I was like, damn, if only I had that experience before. I'd really written the fear in.
Well,
everyone is okay.
Talking about personal pets, a little bit later in this sequence, I'll just mention something ahead. There's a mirror or a cork board with a lot of pet pictures on it. Those are all pictures of pets from the show, from the crew pets. And I will say that our cats are on there several times. And I thank whoever was on set putting them up. They gave our cats good positioning. But Diane, I know you've got pets up there.
Yes, my two dogs are up there, and Ariel, your cat's up there too, right?
My cat.
Well, I tried to get my dog in there, but
he's not on there.
Dickens, I don't know. I don't think so.
You're the boss of the whole art department. Wait a minute.
Knocked off.
Any pet.
Let's see. He's there's Dickens.
Okay, Dickens is there. All right, there we go.
Here's the pug on the right.
It's important.
It is.
Anyway, guy's got to know when he's bagged his limit.
Well, so you're closing up.
Yeah, but we were flooded with pet pictures.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I remember Janine Fletcher, our amazing clearance person. She collected all the pictures. And the email was like, "This is the best job."
Yeah, because everybody has to clear them.
We all just sign our releases to have our
cute.
pets on there. So.
It's story-wise, it's interesting. Caldera's packing up because he's made enough money and he's getting out while he still can. Boy, that's something I think Jimmy would never.
We found the Zodiac killer.
No, Jimmy doesn't know when to stop.
Jimmy and Saul would never. He never did that.
No. Right. Now, Ariel, did you make up these codes in this book?
I did not. This was the work of our fabulous assistants. This was Claudia, and Kathleen and Mel and Jen, who's not an assistant, who is one of our fantastic producers. But this was a team effort for sure.
Do you think?
It turned out really well. I love getting to see his little black book, and kind of, we see the little black book in another episode.
Day in, day out.
Yes.
In 601. We know, so we can assume
I can't believe he's
this is how Jimmy gets, how Saul Goodman gets all of his underworld clients. When he knows a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy, he probably knows him from this book. And I love that we answered that question.
It's also an actual code with things written in it. So we had to. I didn't do it, but the team ended up writing, figuring out who all his contacts are, writing them, and then translating it into this pictograph code. And oh my God, what happened to his eyes? Now, Diane, what is that?
So that is absolutely a visual effects shot there. We did not want to deal with contact lenses for this, so we just. sort of digitally enlarged the pupil there. And it looks great.
I have a question about the book, just going back to the book real quick. So did they just write the codes and give it to Mark Hansen to create the book and then age the book? Or did they actually do the book with the physical book?
I know, I think that was Mark Hansen. That was our amazing props department. Yeah, we send
right.
Yeah, we send sort of
so you sent all that information.
the text in English, and then I think the code to write it down in, and then they did it on the ground.
Mark Hansen, who is, I think, a genius.
Such a genius. Yeah.
He was so good. I mean, it's such a joy to be a designer and not have to worry about the props.
Yeah. Well, and Mark's been with us since the pilot of Breaking Bad. I mean, he's one of the longest running crew members of the entire operation, and he's just a delight to work with.
And it's so great to have somebody that understands the whole history too, because I was new this season, so he was amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, we have so many very detailed props on this show. You know, our fans really like to pause and zoom in, and especially with a prop like this, where we're basically asking people to pause and zoom in. Hey, here's a code, solve it, and
they did.
They did.
They did. We knew they would.
Some of them, like by 6:01.
It's interesting because this is my hobby horse, and you've heard me say this before probably, but you think about props. It's not shopping from a list; it's storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah. And if we're doing our job right as writers, the physical objects are really important in the story. And so getting them right and getting and Mark is a storyteller, and his whole team, they're storytellers. And it makes Denise is too, by the way, very much.
Oh, very much.
Very much. And it's all about telling the story and making the world of the show real to make you feel like it all goes on beyond the edges of the frame, which I hate to say it doesn't.
Be an attorney, I wouldn't have met my husband.
Kim, this is such an interesting piece you wrote here, Ariel, because he asked, "How did you leave it?" And then she doesn't really answer. She says, "I still respect him an awful lot, and I owe him a lot." And I think he kind of respects her. She's obviously being tactful.
Yes.
And
she takes a nice pause.
Yes.
Yeah. And he knows she is doing that too. I mean, it's like he's reading between the lines there, I think, but he certainly is hearing what he wants to hear.
Yes.
At this moment.
It would be so much easier if this characters were all really stupid.
It's so much easier.
Because they're all perceptive bunch.
Okay, so now we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this.
This set evolved. This was like a team evolution because I had specific ideas at the beginning of what I thought it should be. I thought it should show more of the bones of what it was evolving to. And then Michael Morris had his ideas, and then Peter had his ideas, and then Ariel, you had your ideas, and then somehow these all came together, and it actually works. I was really concerned about this at first because it kept kind of changing, and I love that you put the dialogue in about the molding because that was an earlier phase, which it was supposed to be very graphic. And so we did the molding to be graphic, and then it kind of had to soften back into more a shabby chic, which was Michael Morris, and then Ashley, the set decorator, and I, we kind of got into the character and say, well, what Francesca, she looks at these books and travel magazines, so she's going to take all these ideas from these design magazines, and then what's available in Albuquerque.
Oh my God, yeah. Wow.
So that's how we ended up kind of in this direction.
That's amazing. I love it. Yeah, this version of The Office is sort of a reflection of Francesca. You know, who she is. This is the Francesca Saul Goodman office.
Right. Yeah. This is the life she thought she was going to when she left the MVD.
Yeah, it's such a
it's a heartbreaker.
It's such a fabulous metaphor for what happens to this office and what happens to Francesca.
Tina, I love how she's so buoyant in this scene. You've never seen her like this, Francesca. She's got so much enthusiasm. I mean, you just feel like she's going to go out and have a great evening and feel great, and then you know where she goes to. Yeah, and it's not a happy story.
Yeah, she's great because she is very sparkly, and in her, she's happy about it, and then you see later how she just. You can see physically her change a little bit.
Well, because we meet her, in season 3 of Saul, and she's just this, kind of earnest, kind of doe-eyed, like.
She's sort of sweet and hopeful,
so different,
and
and it's not. We didn't spend that much time on it, but it's nice to kind of see a little bit of this transformation.
She's one of the only characters who. She's Saul's sidekick since Breaking Bad, so that relationship is really important.
It is. The fabulous John Ennis.
John Ennis, father of Jesse Ennis. And also, this is a reunion here between Bob and John because they were on Mr. Show. And John Ennis was, I believe, originally part of David Cross's comedy theater group from I think it was Boston. And then he joined Mr. Show, and if you haven't seen Mr. Show, you're in for a treat. It's really wonderful.
Pause and go watch it.
It's on. It's available. It's available on streaming services as I speak.
I love getting to write a little bit for this UNM film crew.
Yes.
They're so much fun.
Josh Fadem, Haley Holmes, and Julian Bonifengo. Of course, Ariel also wrote training films that they have done.
Yep.
Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this season's it's a web series to accompany 6B of the season. And it's filmmaker training with the UNM Film Kids.
And it's a lot of fun. It's very funny, and it teaches you everything you need to know about making films.
Yes, everything.
And
That's all you need to know.
I say it as a former USC film production instructor. I would like my students, if only my students had watched that.
They would know exactly how to please camera guy.
Yeah. He's very picky.
I
love how happy Jimmy is for her.
I know.
It is beautiful.
This episode is so tragic because this is kind of like a little bit the final moments of Up before.
It is pretty great.
Something bad gonna happen? Uh-oh.
Watch and find? No. Yes, something bad is gonna happen, Peter. This is gonna last. Look at that.
Wait a minute. That was a.
Look at that foreshadowing.
That was a cut. Yeah. Now,
is this a different show?
So Denise, was it hard bringing the whole crew and cast to Germany?
Right.
Yes.
Right. We
expensive.
We found a great location. Luckily, on that day it was drizzling, which I think really
it helps so much. I know. I remember when Tarina called me from set. She's like, "It's raining," and I'm like, "Oh my God, no way!"
Yes, Paul was so happy. He was like, "It looks so great." But we actually brought in a lot of trees.
Yeah,
and we filled in because it was a little sparse, and we filled in with a lot of greens, a lot of trees.
What percentage of this do you think is fake versus or not?
The very tall ones are real, unless you didn't put any.
We actually didn't do any digital work here.
We didn't have to.
We really didn't have to. It looked so good on camera that we decided to put our money elsewhere.
Yeah, we filled in a lot. I would, like all the lower stuff.
The lower trees, you can kind of.
The greens on the ground cover, all that stuff we brought in, and made this little path for him.
Yes. This is it's so great how he comes into this scene. This is just so great.
My favorite shots. When he
that's the line that always makes me laugh. I don't speak any German. Tony has he just has a rhythm where he can be so funny. He's just great. Yeah. And also the color in the scene is a little bit different. It's a little bit desaturated, and the greens are popping.
It's very cool. The beginning of the show starts out so warm and monochromatic, in
one wall,
beiges in the wall.
And I still remember I got the dailies for this, and I was like, okay, let's see how it looks. And I said, "Oh my God, it's perfect. I don't have to do anything."
I know, we were
to
so
it.
happy because that's Diane said, we don't have to do anything, because I was like, okay, you're going to have to do a lot but yeah, it worked.
No,
An amazing paint crew too.
Yeah, it just looks so perfect. And the way that Giancarlo and Paul placed the camera, it just looks like it's always been there.
Right. And then we went into this location.
This is a different location, a different part of town, right?
Right. This is a whole different place. And it was this enormous barn that we put walls in and filled in a lot because it was pretty open. And then we dressed, that wall back there is totally fake because it was so big, we had to shorten it and reduce the size. And it was, and then we brought in all the ground cover. And at one point I got there and they had brought in all these bark chips and stuff, and we were like, I said, okay, we got to reduce it because it looks like a hamster cage. There was so much. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I know. But,
look at that. Look at that. All that set dressing.
There's so much great set dressing in this. Detail-wise, it's really beautiful. I think I have some photographs that show the set dressing a little more, but
it's from
always
Ashley
good.
Marsh is the head of that
yes.
department.
But it's always great to not have this, of course, the set dressing pop out at you and just let it fall back there. But
oof, it's so immersive. It allows Casper to kind of come out and surprise you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Lalo plays it so well. He's like just the gasping and you really think he's really hurt.
That's absolutely true.
Remember, some people asked me, they're like, wait, did he just chop Lalo in half? How is he still alive?
Well, he's I hope it's clear he's using the blunt end of the axe.
He's using the blunt end.
He's not going the full Friday the 13th yet.
No, he is not. It's so interesting that we went with Casper for this moment instead of, I think some people thought it was going to be Kai.
Yes.
Who's also a wonderful, wonderful actor and would have been great for this. Felt like Kai was sort of he was the problem child a little bit back in season 4. Ben Bellabom.
Stefan is so much more physically imposing.
Yes.
And we had already seen Kai Mike dropped him with one punch. So we thought we really ought to have somebody who
and Casper stood up to Mike in that same scene.
Yeah.
That's true.
Part of the
and you
reason
like
why.
Casper because he does stand up to Mike. And that was awful, by the way. Diane, why did you do that?
Yeah. He needed that foot.
I asked for a simple, tasteful like shaving cut, and instead you took the guy's foot off. I don't know, but that is of course a visual effect on set. He was wearing.
Yes, Stefan still has a foot.
Yeah.
And this was poor Giancarlo had to shoot that scene before his actual
Out of
shooting
order.
schedule because Stefan was not available. He's of course very busy as great actors should be, and so that whole sequence had to be shot weeks before I think Giancarlo was actually supposed to start shooting.
Yeah. Oh, Francesca.
I know. This is where Francesca starts.
Oh, no.
Clients from hell.
Yes. Tina
I think
Parker.
she went out and bought that bulletproof glass this day.
I can't believe Tina Parker doesn't have her own show.
I know. She's just so good, and she can do anything.
Yeah, she's very fun. She's also nice.
She is great.
They're so fun together, right? Francesca and Saul.
Yes.
They have such a great rapport. And she's one of the few people, I mean, you were sort of saying this earlier, Peter, who is with him throughout his transition.
This is the law library.
Do you think that's the toilet from the earlier episode that used to be in the middle of the room?
I think it's supposed to be, yes.
Do you think that there are two toilets?
There might be. I don't know.
I don't know which one's funnier.
This particular scene, for some reason, is one of my favorites. I just think he's such a jerk the way he talks her into doing this.
Yeah.
And you can just see this is how the relationship's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's just, I don't know. He's so self-assured. He's such a jerk. And it wasn't that long ago that he was a little bit PTSD and nervous.
It's true.
And Bob's reactions here are just fantastic. I mean, come on.
Well, I guess she's a client of yours. She lives in the sandpiper.
How many actors can go from a super dramatic scene to being able to do that?
Not many.
Not many. He's really unique. And he and Tina, like you say, he and Tina are just great together.
Yeah, such good chemistry. So good.
It's fun, they're out here in this alleyway again. We were here once in Breaking Bad before, too. This is, in some ways, an Easter egg.
Yes, that's Ariel's
Of
actually
some kind.
Ariel's actually our great Breaking Bad resource.
Yes.
Because she made it a practice.
She didn't even work on the show for very long.
Weeks.
I know, and she knows it better than any of us that were there for years.
Isn't it right that you used to, before each season of Better Call Saul, you would watch all of Breaking Bad again?
Yes. I rewatch it all. I made my own transcripts so that I could easily search actual dialogue that was said and different facts about different characters and timeline things. If someone said, "Oh, a week ago this happened," I added that in.
Did anybody ever catch you?
Catch
in other
me.
words, in a mistake?
Oh man, I'm sure we've made mistakes. I know nobody's perfect.
Ariel also has.
Thankfully, there are many other people who are very passionate and talented on this show.
Oh, I
so I'm
know.
not.
That's what I was going to say. I was wondering if somebody called you on it, or if you had them.
She might. Ariel has a translucent face, and by that I mean her emotional state and reactions are all written on her face. She doesn't have a poker face.
None.
So in the writers' room, if I started pitching something that was contradicted something on Breaking Bad, I could tell because I'd look over and there's Ariel, and she was looking like she was going to have to break some bad news.
Oh.
I love this beat. This is so funny.
You clean it up.
Yeah, now the relationship has shifted a little bit.
It's changing.
I also think the water features may be a mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at least for Saul. But how else are they going to learn? Trial and error. Now we know that Saul's office is that we see in Breaking Bad is that way by design.
Now, Denise,
We built that. Yes.
What you built? What did you build?
We built that whole machine on the right to match what was in Breaking Bad and to match the other machines, because by the time we got to this location, it had changed. So we built that whole facade and the sides and everything, and it was incredible. We called it, our supervising art director is Denz Danielson, and he kind of did the whole thing. We'd call it the Denzomatic.
It looks amazing.
This is a set on stage.
Is it really?
There's an area in the laundry that stores all these towels and all this stuff. So we took that kind of idea and did this on stage. When he walks through that.
Well, and all this stuff got shot out of order, right? Like, because we had to get this built, and then but it needed to work for Vince's episode.
Right.
There
was quite a bit of that going on, so it was kind of hard to keep track sometimes.
Yeah, I had actually kind of put that out of my mind, how much crossboarding we actually did this year.
It was a lot.
It was so much. Oh my God.
That means shooting. Usually it means taking two scripts and then shooting everything in order, so you get everything in one location at a time. In this case, it meant that we were shooting different episodes, usually on the same set. So everything on that set for both episodes was shot roughly the same time.
Had we not moved the Mystery House to episode, was it 9?
Right.
Because it starts in 1.
That's Saul Goodman's house. Yes.
Casa Goodman is what we called it. I don't know that we could have, the amount of physical work doing the motel and the farmhouse and all the thing in the first episode was enormous.
So much, yeah.
And I don't know that we could have actually pulled it off.
Well, and also we had to have it work for what was going to happen in 9, which we didn't have a script for yet.
Oh, correct.
Right? And I mean, I remember the first meeting that I had for this season was a location meeting. It was on Zoom. It was like before, it was like 2 months before we started shooting. Yeah. You had already been out there prepping for a month or something. And I think one of the first things we talked about was that house. Yeah. And then we didn't shoot it for another 9 months after that. And that's how long it took to put that house together.
I think that there was that, absolutely. There was the logistical side of it. But I think the other thing was, I don't think our ideas about what the house was going to be weren't as clear.
Correct.
And we started talking about it. And I was very happy when we decided to push it down the schedule, because I felt like let's hit our stride in the schedule, because this is really important to get right. We're learning a lot about the guy. Yeah. But by the way, I have to also just say, Dave Porter just had this wonderful, wonderful cue for Mike here, which is very heartfelt. A very heartfelt cue, and it's in a way that I don't think we've heard from Mike before, and I just think it's lovely. And you can just, this guy's separated from his family because he's working so much for a drug dealer. it's kind of, what a terrible situation.
The choices these people make on this show.
What are your priorities, Mike?
What's that underneath?
And this is a beautiful scene with all the talk of the stars. Ariel, it's just so nicely done.
Thank you.
So nice.
And we see a smile on his face we rarely see.
That's right.
You know it's the largest planet in our solar system?
Is it? Bigger than the Earth?
Uh-huh.
I remember at one point in the room we had talked about this being like a kid's birthday party, right? He was going to miss her birthday.
Yes.
Or something, but then was like getting a bunch of kids in COVID.
Right.
Seemed maybe not as doable. And this has just turned into such a sweet, kind of poignant scene. You know, for him to get 5 minutes of stargazing with Kaylee.
It is a tricky scene, though, in the sense that we're shooting with a child at night, and children have very limited hours a night. So Giancarlo had to really move fast to shoot up all of Kaylee's material.
I'm still so impressed. Right, this house is right across from Stacy's established house. This is the second time you guys have gotten a house near another established house this season.
This is Christian. Yeah, Christian, our location manager, he's one of a kind.
I'm in awe.
Yeah, he was really, really good.
We could so easily not have been able to find a house. We've seen, this house, and the other one is house near Gus's house, right? They see in episode 604.
That's right.
Right.
Right. Yes. No, you're absolutely right. In fact, I think there was another house that we were going to use, and this house, was our second choice house, and it works great.
It was my first choice house.
Was it? There you go.
It was, and because of the entrance and going through the back and all that, we chose the other one, and then I think we lost it, and we ended up going to this one.
Well, we should have listened to you in the first place. Clearly.
Right? Yeah. It works really well. It managed to be right across the street, but also I don't feel worried that Stacey and Kayla are going to look over and see Mike in the window staring at them.
That's the challenge with a scene like that for sure. And
I love the way this turned out.
The scam board.
This must have been fun coming up with all these little Post-its here.
Mm-hmm. So much fun.
Yeah, it was the Post-its, and then how they evolve as the scam changes and moves forward.
Mm-hmm. They have a discard pile at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's things they maybe were going to do and then didn't. There's a whole story going on. I imagine this feels really satisfying, crossing out the last one, sort of similar to when we finish breaking an episode, when we put the number up on the board. Okay, now it's done.
Let's go out.
Or so they think.
Like shot listing and crossing them off as you shoot them.
Yes.
He's set up.
Yeah.
Omaha Beach.
That's a great feeling when you have the storyboards posted, and everyone and then you take the Sharpie and you cross out the shot.
Right.
And this is such an interesting scene. This little beat here where they're drinking wine, and we realize they're across from HHM. I just think it's about anticipation, and it's about how important this is to them, and it's weirdly romantic. They
have the funniest romantic moments or places and situations in which they're going to be romantic. They get married. Oh, it's all business.
That's right.
Talking about scamming. That's
the romance for them.
It's go time. As Tom Schnauz likes to say.
And we don't know where, and maybe you don't recognize it just yet, but then hopefully there you go. And that's Diane, was that sign really there?
No.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good. And that was designed by Denise's team, and then we just make the digital magic of it.
It's a date.
And then I love this shot here. What a great shot.
The crossroads.
Yeah. Zafiru.
Talk about this liquor store. This is a great location.
Well, finding a high-end liquor store is not easy either in Albuquerque. A lot of them are very corporate. And so this, again, we only used the wine portion of this store, and we ended up painting the whole thing these dark colors.
Oh, wow.
And building another wall, which is up at the top of the stairs. I'm not sure you see it. And using that back wall as their entrance and exit. So this is kind of the back part of a store.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
But rearranged everything, created this whole counter area, and they left it. They loved it.
Oh, did they?
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, they're not stupid.
They didn't
clearly.
want to change it. Great. And then also, I don't think we see it. Yeah, we created that whole counter. We also, on the walls, we had painted gin and, things, and they left all that. But I had the painters doing it at 4:00 in the morning.
Wow.
The day we were shooting it. Again, amazing painters that could do stuff like that.
Love that cut. Love that cut.
It is.
Chris McCaleb.
As scripted and as shot, I believe he walks out of the store and then walks over to the car and then explodes.
Yeah, this is so much better.
It's you have to shoot it that way.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You
do. I mean, so many of these things, people don't realize how many of these things really are found in the editing once you see how it all goes together and once you get the pacing.
What is more important than that?
How frequently you need, maybe sometimes a little bit more than you think you need so that you can cut into the scene.
Yes.
Sometimes you need more of an entrance, more of an exit. Oh, they're walking down the stairs, walking to the cars, and then you cut into the scene as they're in their cars. But you need that little bit of runway.
It's very hard to know until
you see it all together.
Yeah.
And it's you definitely need entrances and exits.
Shit! I know! But hey.
I think it's so funny that there's this guy with this phenomenal, fantastic mustache.
Yes.
And everyone is, I would think, oh, he's going to shave the mustache. It's going to be a problem with the mustache. But nope. Mustache is fine.
Broken arm.
Hilarious mislead.
This is, it's such a pain in the neck to shoot in cars and around cars. And this next piece is so well done. And of course, Paul Donaghy, our DP, did a
No,
job.
Kim, no!
Yes, Kim, yeah.
And yet we know she's going to do it.
Well, she and Jimmy are two of a kind. They both make bad decisions under pressure.
Yeah, they do.
Fallacy of sunk costs.
Yeah.
What a performance from Ray.
This is off of a Russian arm.
Ukrainian
arm. It's a Ukrainian arm now. I can't believe that our show actually has used one because it seems it's like science fiction. What a great episode! Great job.
It really is.
Great job.
Great job, everyone. Ariel. Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Denise, and thank you, Mark. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Mark. He was instrumental in hiring on Breaking Bad.
You know what's so difficult about this right now is I forgot the conversation. I was just watching the episode.
Great stuff. All of us. All of us together.
You guys are
Great job,
such artists.
Such a fun one.